If your kids can't sleep at night, can't focus during the day, and won't talk to you about what's going on, I need you to watch this. I just spent an entire school term as a counselor coaching and working with 19 kids. And the three biggest things I saw come up are things that most parents don't even know that they can prevent. In this video, I'm going to break all three of them down. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the podcast, or if it's your first time, welcome. I am so excited to be sharing because this month our podcast is hitting 500 episodes. So before we even get into today's chat, I just really wanted to say thank you for all of you who listen, who've been with me since day one, back in the day when the podcast was recorded in the car with my Apple headphones, my hoops, the bad audio. I really genuinely can't thank you enough. It feels like I've had this podcast for a decade, but it hasn't been. It's been 8 years. And it's an emotional, I've been crying about it all week because I'm like, I cannot believe we're here. So we're going to have a celebration. There's a link in the show notes, or you can DM me on Instagram, the number 500, and I will send you the link. It's a free virtual podcast party. We're doing virtual because our listeners are in like 200 plus countries. So I was like, how the hell are we going to get everyone together? Virtual will be the bomb. We're going to celebrate the show. We're going to answer your questions. If you wanted to know anything about a podcast episode you loved or you listened to and you had questions for me or wanted to go deeper, we're going to do coaching, and we are going to co-create the next 500, the next 5,000 episodes together, because I want to hear from you. What do you want to hear on the show? What haven't I covered? What would you like to know more about in regards to what I speak about? What do you need support with? Please let me know. So I want you to show up. All you got to do is hit the link in the description or in the show notes. Register. It's free, but there's only 100 spots because Zoom can only fit 100 people. So I want to see you there. It's going to be April 19th. All the details are in the link below. I'll be emailing you and reminding you. Don't worry. We have a little time zone thing as well, if in case you're in the States, because technically we're in the future. So anyway, in Australia. So I just wanted to say that because I'm very, very, very excited. And speaking of emotional, I don't know if you know, I don't even know if I told you, my friend, but I have been going to college, to university. I've been studying. I started at the end of 2023. I feel like it was 2024. No, I started in 2024. And I wanted to go back to school and get my bachelor's degree after the year that I did with Gabor Mate, who is absolutely incredible, like amazing at trauma, amazing at addiction. He's just incredible. And if you follow him or follow any of his work, you will know what a pioneer he is in the therapeutic space. Just an incredible man. And I did 12 months with him, learned so much. And in that training, he recommended ongoing training. He recommended IFS, internal family systems therapy, which I've talked about a lot on the show. He recommended, therapy and continuing on. And a lot of therapists were in the training with me. And I'm not ever seeing myself going off and doing one-on-one therapy practice, but I do want to continue to learn. And one of the things that I have and that my husband Hamish has that I guess gives us a different edge to other business coaches or coaches in general is that we have that therapeutic side. My husband is an initiated shamanic practitioner. He went to a medicine school in Peru. He's initiated. He's also done his breathwork certification and obviously years of coaching and supporting people at the gym and in his practice of life coaching that he had. And then I have all of my years and my experience. And so it made sense for me to go back and learn. And so I am almost, I guess, halfway through, you would say, of my college degree. And it's a bachelor's in psychotherapy. And I got to the point in my degree where I had to do placement. And that's what this episode is about. It's about the placement I just finished and what I learned. I have 2 children, 8 and 10, 2 boys. And I feel like I know a lot about my kids. I feel like I know a lot about raising my kids. I feel like I know a lot about my family and the way in which we raise our children, what we teach them. But it doesn't mean I know anything about the world and the way children out in the world who are not in my house are being raised, the things they're struggling with, the things parents are dealing with, the things schools are struggling with. And so my university was like, we're going to do placement, which basically you work for free. You do therapy for free and you get hours and you learn. And y'all know I run my business and my shit is crazy. And I'm on flights and I'm speaking at events and I'm running masterminds and I'm constantly doing things. So for us to find free time to fit for this first term, this first quarter of the year was very tricky. But it happened to work because if you remember at the end of last year, I said my word of the year is structure. Boring. It's been so boring this quarter. I have not flown around. I've done a few speaking engagements, but I've been doing a lot in the back end with Hamish around systemizing our business and really structuring our business in the right way because we want to fly. And when you start scaling and growing to a point where there's team and there's people helping you, you can't run how you used to run solo. You can't do the things you used to do by yourself. You can't pull offers out of thin air. You really need the structure and the systems, and you don't want everything to depend on you. And so as a founder, I need people to run without me so I could go do the things I do great, which is visionary, thinking of good ideas, going out there, being on the ground, being with people. Like I love coaching. I love being at live events. And so in order for me to go crazy, I had to slow down to speed up, if you've ever heard of that saying. And it's excruciating. Okay, if you wanted to know, I hate it. And I'll do another podcast about that because I absolutely don't like it. It's not my way. It's not my way at all. It's not how I've built anything. I go crazy and go over here. And my husband Hamish is like the calm. What is he? Like we say he's like the brick to my hot pink helium balloon. But he's a sexy brick, right? We need that. We need the yin and the yang, and I'm very yang. So this quarter couldn't have been better. For me to do placement right now while I am literally home organizing the back end with my husband, slowing down to speed up, I needed it. If you saw 2025 was hectic for so many people. But personally, for me, it was one of my craziest years. I don't know how it didn't implode or explode. It was wild, exciting, fun, amazing, but something you don't want to carry into every year. I get that. So my husband was like, not a good idea. So here comes placement, and I could work at a prison. I could work at a women's shelter. I could work at a private practice. And then someone in one of our calls was like, you could work at a school. And I was like, I've had a lot of people ask me about doing work with kids. I've had the opportunity to speak to the kids in my high school where I went to school. I went back to Boston and did that. And I just can't even tell you, it makes me emotional thinking about it because it was life-changing for me and a full circle moment. And so when the school, I'm about to cry, look at me. Oof. When the school came, the idea about the school came, I was like, I never thought about that. Maybe I could do that. So I submitted a few interview requests. I submitted my resume. I submitted emails, and I got back a reply from a school. It's a primary school. So primary means the preps all the way till grade 6. In Australia, they do this like primary school. So it's grade 1, grade 2, all the way to 6th grade. And they said yes. They accepted me. I went and had my interview with them, talked to them. I did a full Wednesday and then a couple hours on a Monday morning. And we booked it into the schedule. I rearranged my clients who are so beautiful. I love you clients. You're amazing. And we worked it out. And I went to the school. And I thought no one's going to sign their kid up to free counseling with me, but I had to write a bio. I didn't want anyone to know I'm the queen of confidence, air quotes. I didn't want to put any of that stuff. I wanted it to just be, I'm a student, I'm a therapist. I'm going to be here doing counseling with children who are interested in an office. These are my qualifications. This is what I've done. And so I was overwhelmed, like taken back when I got all of the letters, consent forms from parents. And they fill out the kid's name, their phone number. And basically you get these forms, you come into the office and you call the parents and just find out what do they want to gain from therapy? What are their goals for their children? What are their children going through? And then the school had kids that they were like, hey, these are some of our kids that are going through some things. And let me tell you, as a parent myself, side note, it was really incredible to see how much certain schools care about the well-being and welfare of children, especially high-risk children, children that have foster care involved, or parents that have alcoholism or drug addiction, or parents that passed away, or some traumatic experience. How much certain schools get involved and care about the well-being of the children. It was really beautiful to witness. So I'm getting these kids from the schools, parents are filling out forms, and I start calling and I'm having chats with parents, some parents for 5 minutes, some for 25 minutes. And then I had to organize my schedule. Anyway, long story short, I ended up with like 19 kids, which is wild because the sessions are half an hour. I got 2 kids that I see for 15 minutes. They have severe ADHD, so we don't even sit, we walk. We walk around the campus. And I don't know how I saw like 19 kids. And some kids I got right at the end and I only had 2 weeks with them. Some kids I was with them since the beginning all the way to the end. And I just wanted to share some of the insights, some of the learnings, some of the things that I realized working with these kids, some of the things I wished that the parents knew or could realize. And I thought, oh my God, I have moms who listen to my show. Sometimes dads listen to my show. So shout out to y'all, to the men who listen. But I wanted to share some of the insights because as a parent myself, if I wasn't in this experience, I wouldn't have realized, I wouldn't have known. And one of the biggest things that I realized is that as grown-ups, we have been given a phone. We have been given social media. We have been given iPads, laptops, AI, YouTube, internet. The internet fell on our lap, technology, social media, the infinite scroll, videos coming at our face left, right, and center. Every platform has video vertical now, and we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to not have our phone attached to us. It follows us into every room. We do not know when it's downtime to put it down and have no screen time. We struggle as adults with blue lights and not being able to go to sleep because we're on our laptops, we're on our phones, with the notifications, with the dopamine, the constant scrolling and looking at our emails just to check if we got a new email, text messages, all of that. And what I realized was we as adults haven't managed it for ourselves. No one taught us. We don't know how to do it. And now we have little ones. And the little ones have no idea how to do it. And so there's kids who can't sleep at night, who are restless, who are anxious. So much anxiety in kids right now. Wild. Why? Why are our kids so anxious all of a sudden? And disconnected really from friends, or disconnected from themselves, or disconnected from the family unit. And some of the things that I think would be useful is for us as parents to understand technology, to understand the impacts of vertical video, TikTok, Instagram. I have sat with my kids and watched funny videos. I have a little thing saved in my Instagram called Kids Funny Videos, and they just like to watch funny things. And I realized there was an article that came out that said that the way that the children's brain is wired and what happens when they watch vertical video and they're flicking and flicking, oh my gosh, you will not give your child a phone anymore. And so we stopped watching it because it's like a slot machine at a casino. Ka-king, ka-king, next. And you just want to watch the next video. Before you know it, you're in this hole of videos that you're scrolling and watching, and it's shifting and changing their brain. It's changing our brain. Never mind little kids under 12, under 14 years old. So I think if we as parents want to help, we need to help ourselves. We need to have better boundaries with our phones. We need to be more aware of screen time. We need, for us, and I don't know who's taught you because nobody's taught me. I'm literally seeing this, learning, reading articles going, whoa, my kids are seeing me on my phone. My kids are seeing me on my laptop. You know, how much am I going to grab my phone into every single room I walk into? Why? Is it necessary? So I've been leaving my phone in the room charging while the kids are home. I don't need it. You don't need to check every 5 freaking minutes. You don't need to know what's going on Instagram. You don't need to watch everybody's stories. Like, we don't need to. And there's this thing that got sold to us that, like, if we're not watching or seeing or, oh my gosh. And then we believe everything in our phone is real. If I follow a chick and I follow her life and I watch what she does, I think she's real. She exists to me. I push unfollow, she's gone. She doesn't exist. I decide not to watch the scary news. Literally, it doesn't exist. Does that make sense? We have to learn how to do this because we're not able to teach our kids because no one's taught us and we don't know. And so one of the top things that I realized was how much screen time impacts our children's mind, their brains, their nervous system, their anxiety, their attention span, their dopamine levels, all of that. The second is, there's a few. The second is communication. A lot of the parents were like, my kid doesn't talk to me. My kid doesn't tell me things. You know, they're very private. They're very this, or they're not open to talk to me. And look, I get it. I think ideally you want your child to tell you things, but we have to ask, why doesn't our kid talk to us? Why is our child not feeling like they can tell us things? I want to take responsibility for my son feeling like he can't talk to me if that ever happened. Because if I don't take responsibility for that, who's going to fix it for me? I am of the belief that your teenager doesn't have to hate you. I have plenty of friends with teens. Their kids are amazing. They kiss them, they hug them, they love them, they talk to them. They don't hate their mom and dad. And for me, I would like to invite you not to subscribe to the fact that your kid's going to hate you when they become a teenager and hit puberty. That's not true. Let's make that not true. Let's stop spreading that rumor that that's what it's normal. Your kid hates you. Oh, welcome to the club. No, it's not normal. My kids don't hate me. And I talk to them about that, about how people say, well, your teenager is going to hate you. And my son looks at me like, why would I hate you? I'm like, I don't know, but that's what people say. And it would mean that we don't communicate. It would mean that our relationship is eroded. It would mean that we stop talking, that we stop sharing how we feel. And so one of the ways in which I invited, and I left this for a lot of the parents in my notes, in my end notes, is to have a nightly meeting. So we have something called a family meeting. I've talked about it on the podcast before. And I got this cool, it's not here, but I got this cool crystal, like a really beautiful quartz rock. You can get whatever you want, whatever your kids like. And we hand it around the rock. And at night, in the kids' bedroom, literally seconds before we're putting them to bed, we sit on their bed and we're like, all right, family meeting. How was your day? And I would ask Hamish, my husband. And the little one was not interested at all. The older child, when he was really little, we started this. And I started this because I was sexually abused. I started this because I want my kids to talk to me. I started this because I want them to always feel like they can come to me with anything, with drugs, with anything that they're worried about. I don't want to get them in trouble for telling me something, even if they made the wrong decision. And that is hard because they haven't done that yet. But when that happens, I'm going to have to hold my word to that. Oh God, that's hard. But I was just like, this is a safe place where you could come and talk to me. So we hand around this rock. How was your day? And then they share. Did you have any challenges? Is the next question. And then they share. Awesome. What's something that you're grateful for? What's something that's working really well? What are you happy about? What are you looking forward to? And then they share. Now, did you have any challenges? That's the question that I care about. I literally just want to know what happened today that was hard or bad or difficult or whatever. How did it make you feel? What do you want to share with me? And it's important because I've talked to my kids about their bodies, their penises, their private parts, their autonomy, people touching them, strange behavior, not just stranger danger, but strange behavior, people being weird, their areas, their bodies, being naked, covering your body, all of that stuff. So when I'm asking what challenges happen, I'm hoping that they let me know. And sometimes they tell me things that went down and they share it. And so I really feel that if you could get a culture at home where you talk more to your kids about what's going on, about how your day was, you open up, you try opening up. Like sometimes my husband will be like, I had a hard day today. I was really stressed. And I felt like there was no end in sight to all the work I had to do. And I'm really tired. I'm tired today. Today was a bit hard. Like my husband will say that. I think that's so good for them to see that it's not all, sprinkles and rainbows and everything's all happy and positive all the time. Sometimes it's hard. Mommy and daddy are tired, or sometimes things don't work out for us. And we share that with them. So a family meeting. A second thing in regards to communication is letting them know, hey, you can tell me anything, even if it's bad, even if you think you're going to get in trouble. I promise I won't be angry at you. And if it's something dangerous, I'll look after you. We'll work it out together. But I want you to know that you can come to me with anything. Tell me anything you want. Like, let them know that you are a safe space for them. And in order for you to do that, you have to be attuned to them. You can't be screaming, yelling, and shouting. You can't be on your phone, not giving them presents, because saying you can come to me with anything and showing that in your body language, in your energy, and the way your home feels, that's a different story. So we have a game. We got it from this company. Actually, I love this company. I'm just going to share in the screen. We're Not Really Strangers. This is a box. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm sharing a box of tissues called Cry Proudly. It says Cry Proudly. And the company is We're Not Really Strangers. And I love them. God, if I ever had a sponsor, it would be you guys. I love you guys. Sponsor me, please. I love them so much. They have like mental health clothing. They're from New York. They're a company in New York City. You can find them on Instagram. They had a game. We have a game from We're Not Really Strangers, multiple games that you can play, card games where you ask questions. But they made one for kids. They've since discontinued it, but someone said they found it on Temu or on the website somewhere. So you can still find it. But we bought it and our kids love playing it. So every night when we have dinner, they pull out the We're Not Really Strangers game. And they ask us questions from it. And they've played this game for a long time, but they pull it out. They bring it on the table. We talk, we ask questions. And it just creates this culture in the family of always talking, always communicating. And I can't tell you how important that is as your children start to grow up and get friends and go out bike riding with their friends, go to date nights with their friends, go to parties as they get older with their friends. I think it's very important that you keep communication open. And it's one of the biggest problems that I can see with kids and families. The third one is also connected to screen time, but more so in safety. There's a lot of young kids playing Roblox. And my own belief is that game is terrible. And I know that there's articles that they supposedly fixed it. They supposedly did this. Shocks me how many parents don't know how bad Roblox is and games like that on the internet is for their kids. And how many kids are playing till 10 p.m. at night, 7 a.m. in the morning. How many kids are in these private chat rooms with other random people. How many kids are building games that are totally inappropriate And again, around people who they have no idea who they are and they think it's all good because, again, they haven't been told how messed up some people are because the parents feel weird to talk about that stuff. But then if you don't talk about that stuff, they find it by being a victim of this stuff. So I just think my son came to me once and said, I want to play Roblox. He actually got a voucher from someone. And I'm like, no, we're not going to play that game. And he's like, why not? He went to school, came back. All his friends were playing. 7 years old. All his friends are playing Roblox. I'm like, dude, you're not playing that game. Absolutely grooming. It's inappropriate. I mean, YouTube for kids is inappropriate. I've watched it with my children. Sit down and watch what your kids are watching. Stay with them for a couple hours. See what they're watching. See what they're playing. You will start to notice why I am so against Roblox, why I'm so against YouTube for kids. They try to put safeties. It's not safe. And I think we don't know because we're busy, we're working, we're juggling so much as parents that are working or running a business, looking after aging parents. If you have multiple kids, if you're a single parent, like it is so hard. So high five to all of you out there. It's not easy. But this is what I was seeing personally going, whoa, okay. And obviously I wasn't going to say to the parents, hey, your kids shouldn't be playing Roblox. But my recommendation was like internet safety games that have chats that they can play with people you don't know. I don't have any chats on my kids' games. They are playing baby games. Why? Because they're going to grow up. The world's going to make them adults. The world's going to toughen them up. There's going to be all kinds of inappropriate things that they're going to see in their lives. I don't need to introduce it to them at 10 years old or at 8 years old. I want them to still be kids and enjoy the kidness of life. And I talk to them about the serious stuff. I will bring sex to them. I will bring, inappropriate behavior to them. I will bring all of those things to them. And they will know because I will speak to them first about it. I'm not waiting for sex ed, right? I'm talking to my children about this. But I think it's important because when they understand and they have that values from home and they're discerning about what they're watching and who they're playing with, then it doesn't feel like it's desensitizing them. And I think some of these games can desensitize our children. The killing, the shooting, the stabbing, the sexual things, the really inappropriate stuff that happens on the internet that we have to be aware of. And if we don't know enough about it, don't let them on there. Or get to know about it before you do. And so that's something that I really would love for you to check out. And my son came home and showed me an article about how the creators of Roblox have fixed it and put protective child things and all this stuff. He was really trying to get me to let him play. And then I was like, okay, sit next to me. And I found another article that said that was all BS and showed actually what they have not done and why the game is still so unethical and so risky for children. And he was like, okay. I was like, okay. He's like, okay, mom. Yep, you win. I was like, great. We love you and we care about you. We're not trying to be mean, but we need you to be taken care of. And the world is a big world and there's a lot of people out there that you don't know. And I need you to be mindful of this. And so I don't know if it's because Australia doesn't have guns. We don't have a lot of bad things here. It's pretty safe as a country. It's a very rich country. This is the land of opportunity. If you ask me, I think this is the land of opportunity, not the US. I've been in both places. And for so long, I've been in Australia and it is an amazing country. And I feel like there's so much good that maybe people forget that stuff can happen here, that difficult things. I recently read, which is quite shocking, the second country in the world for child sex pornography is Australia. The first is the United States with 386 million people. The second is Australia. We have like 26 million people. The third is the UK, massive countries. Australia is a tiny country compared to, and we're number 2. That's alarming. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the world. And you don't have to tell your kids everything and scare them. Please don't. But you need to be aware as a parent because this stuff is infiltrating into our families through our phones, through the technology, through the TV, through games that you're not in. And so my son knows he has a little game on the iPad. There's a chat with one boy that we added and we know him and we know his mom. I was like, I'm going to check your chat whenever I want to. And he knows I pick up the iPad. I don't ask him. And he's cool. He's not sweating. He's like, I already told my friends, don't send me no crazy messages because my mom doesn't mess around. I'm like, yeah, tell your friends. Tell your friends your mother's American and Latina. Que no jodan. Like, I'm happy for my kid to know that I'm going to be that mom. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of leeway, but I'm going to be checking because it's my job to take care of you. So I think those 3 things are really important: the screen time, the communication being high, and online safety. I think it's very important. And Australia just did this 16-year-old social media ban. If you actually think that that's working, like, kids are smart. Just because the law said they banned it doesn't mean they can't get in and change their date of birth. Like, that's not, kids are going to get in if they're going to get in. And instead of trying to not have them do it, let's educate them. Let's keep talking. Let's educate them. Let's educate ourselves on screen time. Let's make a home where we can discuss difficult things and we can hold them when those things come, because they will. Hardship is going to come for all of our kids, right? Like, it's not an easy thing. And so I think when we had this communication and this ability to talk to them on the school holidays, which we're on now, I sit down with my kids and we watch motivational things. I teach them about their thoughts and their feelings. We speak about passive aggressive and aggressive communication and how brotherly fights and how they can work things out and learn how to talk and be respectful to each other. Like, I'm teaching them life stuff and mindset stuff and communication things that I know the school's not going to teach them. And I think that that's our job as parents, to make sure that we keep them talking. I was really taken back by how impactful it was to just have another safe adult who you could speak to. I didn't think that was enough. I was like, I'm not going to do anything in a term. I'm only here for 3 months. That's so short. And I felt so bad. I cried so much. And I've been talking to my therapist about it and my supervisor at school. I'm like, I feel guilty leaving the kids. And it makes me emotional thinking about it. And she's like, you're not leaving them. And I'm like, oh, that's my stuff. When I was a child, I was abandoned a lot. And I had a therapist, and my therapist helped me so much. And I had a social worker, and I had a big brother, big sister worker, and I had all these people. And people would leave me, and I would like get taken out of foster homes and brought back to my mom and back to the foster homes. So I had all kinds of abandonment issues. But the therapy that I had from 4 years old until I was about 16 years old really worked for me. It allowed me to speak and communicate and talk. And I think that's why I speak now so much. And I appreciate communication so much. And so to be able to be that for another child, to just have, I had all these toys. P.S. Kids love to talk when they're doing something, not just talking to a therapist. If you do have your kid with a therapist or a counselor, make sure they got Uno, make sure they got some Minecraft little magnet toys, make sure they have something where the kid can draw and do something and talk, because no one as a child wants to sit across from an adult staring at you, talking about your feelings. They didn't want to do that. They were so happy that I had squishy, like sensory toys. Like, I had all kinds of things because I wanted it to be a fun place. And I didn't want to stare at them, especially the boys. Boys really love like shoulder to shoulder, not head on eye contact. And I'm shocked that my boys in grade 6 really talked to me a lot. And they were awesome. And nothing crazy, but just rapport, just building rapport, being friendly, being a safe space where they could talk and share and be heard, and no pressure to share something really bad or something serious. It was just like, hey, welcome. We can do whatever you need today. And the girls, oh my God, the girls with confidence and the girls with body image and the girls with not being pretty enough and having issues with girls. God, girls have so much issues with each other. And I didn't realize how hard it is for girls in school, and uncool and feeling left out. And every child I spoke to felt left out. And it's so crazy because I've said to the school, I would love to come back and do some group work, because I think if they knew that they all felt the same, just like us as adults, when you know someone else feels the same way as you and you hear them say that, wow, you know it intellectually, but to hear another human being say that in front of you, it changes everything. And so I really am grateful for this time that I got to have. It made me really compassionate and empathetic to school systems and what they have to deal with. I also couldn't see everyone. So I had 19 kids, and some kids were every 3 weeks. I maybe saw them twice. And I felt like, is that enough? But then I had these high needs kids that I had to see weekly. One girl I saw twice a week once, because it was so much. There was so much going on in that child's family and their life. And I, as a mother, have remembered being like, why isn't my kid first? Why haven't they seen my child yet? Why haven't whatever? And I got, because there's high need. There's big demand. I think every school should have a counselor permanently there. I think it would do really well to have a child have an appointment, right? Like, sit down with someone for 15, 20 minutes and have an appointment, not just an office where whenever you want, come in. Kids aren't going to do that. I feel like really creating a system for that would be it. And of course, my husband and I were like, what can we do? How can we continue to support? So stay tuned, watch this space. I do feel that this didn't happen by mistake. I feel very called to why I chose the school, why the school came last minute. I was going to go work at a prison. I think that would be so fun to work at a prison. I would love to work at a prison, or like a women's shelter, right? But this thing came with kids, and they were never in my mind. And then I did that. And then I finished. And the day I finished, I cried so much my last day. Like, I was crying, and the principal was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm really sad. And she's like, well, let's see if we can get you back. Like, I'm sad thinking about it right now. Anyway, the principal gave me a big hug. Parents came into my office and were like, thank you so much for seeing my child. Like, I hope you can come back. Like, if there's anything we can do to get you back. Like, parents were like, can I book with you one-on-one? I'm like, no, I don't do that. Like, I'm at school, but like, Teachers came in and they were like, my kids, I really saw the difference. Kids said thank you. I don't know. It just was really, you think, am I doing enough? Is this enough? I don't know. It must be enough. It has to be enough. And personally, what I struggle with is, did I do enough? Always, that's a question for me. And operating from a place of wanting to be and serve and give more, but then you have to take care of yourself. I didn't even have time to call all the parents. I'm still sending emails to the parents because every day I was there, I was seeing kids. It was like a rotating door, next kids, next kid. And I'm like, holy crap, it was wild. It was busy. It was amazing. But the demand was so high. And yeah, I think it's a beautiful space if we can help the future. That's our future. And I'm just really honored that I got to support those kids. And no one knew who I was. No one knew I was the queen of confidence and I did this, that, and the other. I was no one there, but I was someone to those kids. And yeah, it was really, really beautiful. And I'm still like about it. I'm like, can I go back? How do I do it? I have Wednesdays free because I changed my schedule. So now I have Wednesdays. I'm like, maybe they'll have me once a week. So the principal is trying to work out some kind of budget to see what we could do. But yeah, there's a lot of need. There's a lot of desire. And parents out there, we are doing the best we can. I know we are. It's so hard to run a child's life, the family life, their sports, their own personal stuff with their homework and their friends and their confidence and the way they feel, their bodily changes, the puberty and all that stuff that happens, losing their teeth and their dentist appointment and their health and well-being. Like my son's jaw's not growing the way it needs to. He was snoring. I have to take him to a freaking airways dentistry. My other son is going to need spacers instead of orthodontic stuff. Like that's a whole situation. And then I have a global business with all my clients and perimenopause that's around the corner and my health and well-being, my husband, my aging parents, mother in a nursing home. Just like, whoa, we do so much. And so as I end this, I just want to acknowledge you. I just want you to acknowledge you for all that you do and how hard it is. Life is difficult. Running children, running a family, running a business or a work or whatever it is, single parents out there. Oh my God, my mom was a single mom. Please know I'm taking my crown off and giving it to you. I really, really see you in all the crazy work that we all do as parents. And it's not talked about enough how difficult it is to run the family business. It's a business. And then you have your life, your business. And then you have your parents or those that are around that you're looking after. And so, it was a beautiful honor. I am going to do placement again at the end. And I've asked them if I could come back, but it's like in 2028. So, some of those kids might be already moved on to high school. But yeah, it was a beautiful eye-opening experience. And I think that there's more in this space that we could help. I think we could really support kids. And so yeah, that's brewing in the background whilst we're doing all the things. But yeah, my advice is just keep talking to your kids, express your desire to help and support them and say, I don't know how, but I want to try my hardest. And a final resource, Dr. Shafeli, Conscious Parent, she is absolutely amazing. And as I always say, the best way to teach your children confidence, the best way to teach them how to communicate, how to question their thoughts, how to feel better is you do it. You read all the books that I talk about, Byron Katie. You read No Bad Parts, IFS Therapy. You work on you. Pour it into yourself, and then it's going to naturally come out of you and onto your children. The best way that I know how to impact my kids is through what I do for myself. I love you so much, and I will see you next week. And don't forget, click the link so you can join us for our 500 virtual podcast party. I love you.